Some races seeing major victories, including our next guest, who won a fifth term, beating her Democratic opponent by 20 points, despite millions spent against her. We have joining us now House Republican Conference Chair, New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you this morning.
It's so good to have you on. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, and I'm so grateful and humbled by the overwhelming support in my district. As you all know, and as viewer knows, we just went through redistricting in every congressional district across the country, but it was a particular battle in New York State. So I have new constituents that I'm honored to earn the support, and of course constituents who I've represented for a long time, and we ran on our record of results. And I was also proud to help lead the effort to pick up a number of seats for Republicans in New York State.
Great. Congratulations. The Republicans did pick up some seats in New York State, but what happened to the red wave, Congresswoman? We thought this morning we'd be talking about how clearly the Republicans had the majority in the House. Didn't know about the Senate, but we thought for sure in the House, and still it's unknown.
Well, Steve, as we're looking at some of these races, we feel confident that we're going to win the House, and we will fire Nancy Pelosi, and there will be a Republican majority, and that's really important. That was my top priority as the House Republican Conference Chair. And look, we're going to win the majority in New York State alone. If you look at the 4 seats we picked up on election night, firing Sean Patrick Maloney, a Democrat in leadership, Mike Lawler, of course, won that seat in the lower Hudson Valley. We picked up 2 in the Hudson Valley, 2 on Long Island. Anthony D'Esposito, former NYPD officer, was a pickup. George Santos was also a pickup. And then we have races like the Connecticut race with our amazing candidate, George Logan. We think that goes our way as well. So you can build the majority just out of our inroads in the Northeast. And there's positive news across this country. We elected more Republican women, which that number is going to grow in the next Congress, which I have been very focused on in recruiting and supporting those women. In Florida, we picked up 4 seats. And of course, our top of the ticket did very well. And we flipped Miami-Dade County, which is really, really important and shows the inroads we're making among Hispanics. So let's wait until these races are called, but we will win the majority thanks to the American people.
And by the way, one of those seats that did flip was George Santos. He had joined Fox and Friends first. Listen.
I kept the entire race about the people. I kept it about the issues that were hurting Americans here in the 3rd District, whether it's inflation, whether it's crime, whether it's the high cost of energy and education for our kids. That's what my campaign was all about. While my opponent spent his entire campaign smearing me, when you run a campaign and you don't offer real ideas or solutions to the problems at hand, you can't win.
And, you know, part of the reason I think Long Island is so drastically different from, and Staten Island and upstate, so drastically different from Manhattan. But Manhattan carried the day in New York. Listen, Elise, are you running for to keep that leadership position among the caucus now that you're in the majority?
I am running for re-election as House Republican Conference Chair. We have been disciplined in our message, and we successfully prosecuted the case against Joe Biden's multiple crises. We won, if you talk to voters, on the issue of inflation, and we have to stop that reckless spending. We need to do strong work to secure the border. We need to support our law enforcement. And I'm the only member of leadership who's flipped a district. People forget my district voted twice for Obama, and we now win historic Republican victories. So we have to deliver for the American people, and I'm committed to doing that.
All right. So wants to be chair of the House Republican Conference again and not considering a run for House Majority Whip. That was in the press.
And she's predicting a win for Republicans. Elise, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.